Welcome to Stick to Rugby, brought to you by Defender. Now, SQ and I are back after a little sabbatical. Mm-hmm. I'd like to say, were we upgraded, do you think, by Topsy and
I was panicking because I didn't get a call this week, and I phoned Georgie and I said, "Do you need me for Monday?"
You just turned up, did you?
Yeah, I just turned up, but I thought, well, if I'm here first, I was here at 7 o'clock this morning.
Out of sight, out of mind, guys. You know.
I know.
I mean, I'd be a bit worried.
Foxy, I've got to be honest with you, I was a bit worried that Foxy was in here. He was going to take us all a hostage after that. Brilliant episode, brilliant. Loved it, absolutely loved it.
He's a good man.
And we've also been joined by Nolli Waterman, World Cup winner.
Yeah.
Another one. You got too many World Cup winners, England. That's all I'm going to say. You got too many.
Just World Cup winners non-stop.
We've swapped KDM for another one.
Well, it's very nice to join you all. It's nice and comfy.
How have you been? You were over in Australia with myself and Scott.
I was.
But you did a bit of work with the Lions. I saw you in the Lions Den.
And Howden was there as an ambassador at the Howden Arms before every game, which was pretty mental. They built a pub.
I know.
At 2 of the stadiums.
I saw the main guy from Howden in the Lions Den. I shook his hand and said hello.
That was David Howden, funnily enough.
Absolute legend. He was
partying. Had no idea who I was.
David was genuinely partying harder than anyone, and he didn't go into the corporate boxes in the stadium. He was in the mix.
Yeah,
he was down in the stadium.
Yeah, probably drying out from all the drinking he's doing in the pub. We're supposed to be talking about nicknames, Shanks.
Yeah.
So has that always been your nickname?
No, someone made up Shanks the Tank.
Voldemort.
Shanks the Tank.
Yeah.
What? Hang on. What were you in primary school, year 1?
No, it's from old school.
Shanks the Tank.
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. Yeah, Shanks the Tank.
Yeah. No, I didn't have too many nicknames. Voldemort obviously came a little bit later on in life. The Mule.
Uncle Fester.
Grant Mitchell. You know, all the usuals. Right said Fred.
So, Lol, have you ever had one?
I've had plenty of nicknames, yeah. I mean, people just tend to call me something, so it's just saves time.
Lollipop?
Really? Lollipop, Lol. I went to, when I was at school, I was known as Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses.
Really?
Yeah, because I had a rather London accent, I think it's fair to say.
Who was Rodney?
Rodney, well, that's Will Greenwood, wouldn't it, really?
What about you, Scott?
It's like a family one, isn't it? It's DQ, GQ, CQ, SQ.
Right.
None of you with an IQ.
You have got a booming voice, Scott, and it's I love it. I heard you referred to on the Lions tour that we were on together as Volume 1.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we could hear you from down the corridor. I'm going, where's the physio room?
I think
and then I'd hear Scott laughing.
There it is.
I'd hear Scott laughing, and there it is.
He's with Carcass.
So Carcass going, fucking hell, Volume 1.
Loud?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm loud. I actually think I'm going deaf.
What?
I think, what? I think that's the problem. I actually think I'm going deaf. Somebody did say to me once, Scott, I reckon you could whisper across 3 fields.
Yeah.
Listen,
it's true. It's true.
Where'd you learn to whisper under a helicopter?
He's on fire today.
I forget these one-liners.
Guys, I've missed you.
He saved these all up. He didn't use any in Australia.
I can speak, that's why. So on the show today, we have got the Welsh wizard, former Lions, Wales, Ospreys, played in Japan as well, Shane Williams.
Is he in the car?
Proper.
He may be in the car or something. He's so small. He's so small.
Well, yeah, because, there's been a lot of English qualified people on the pod recently, so we're gonna bet Wales top heavy.
Well, it's like the Taffia then.
Yeah,
we're
coming to infiltrate.
It's a bit like, you know those Russian dolls?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm the big one, Shanks is the middle one, and Shane's the small one.
What a player, though.
I have to say, I mean, he's also a player that transcends any nation, where fans from other countries, no matter what the rivalry, just go, I'd love to have Shane Williams in my team. I think he's
you must have been a fan, Noel, being like a back three player as well.
Massive. Yeah. I think what I loved about Shane was that rugby at a time, and now players were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and yet someone like him and Jason Robinson showed that the game is for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine that you gentlemen from the Principality have got 1 or 2 stories.
Yeah, he was a legend of the game.
On and off the field.
Yeah, he's done it all though, hasn't he? He was IRP Player of the Year 2008.
He's
I picked him for that.
He's now just doing Ironman for fun. Done 7.
And the competition.
Yeah. Is it for fun?
Yeah.
Is an Ironman ever for fun?
Have you ever seen anyone smiling when they're doing the Ironman?
Yeah, well they are when they get over the finish line now.
Yeah, that's incredible though.
Smiling. Have you done an Ironman? Like a full one?
I've dressed up as Iron Man.
He literally said, look Shane, do not take offence when I say this, but you're not big enough. I'm not going to pick you in the Welsh squad. How do you not take offence to that?
When you came into the squad in that early 2000s, you just knew this kid is going to be special.
You got a phone call to go out and play in Japan.
And I'd never seen so many zeros in my life, and I just screamed at the wife, pack your bags, love, we're going. My first Ironman was in 2015. The best advice I ever got was from Richard Webster. Don't worry about it. If anyone comes near you, punch them in the face.
Is anything less, apart from winning it, can be seen as a failure?
1,000,000% it's a failure if the Red Roses don't lift the trophy.
My father phoned me. He told me that if I scored in that game, that he'd win something like £25,000. I was relaxed, it was going to go okay. Then received that phone call and thought, oh shit.
Would you have liked to have been an Olympian?
Yeah, probably a high jumper.
Warren Gatland told us a story about how you offered him out one night.
He goes, Shane, if you call me a fat, useless Kiwi prick again, you're not going to play for Wales. And slams the door in my face.
Shane, welcome to Sticks to Rugby.
Cheers, lot.
Our local delicacy is this week brought to us by James in the production team. Baked by his auntie Nerys down in Wales.
It's amazing.
And what's it called?
Barrabrith.
Which is sort of even posh malt bread, isn't it, really?
No, it's not. It's, malt loaf is Barrabrith.
Right.
So beautiful. Fruit loaf, perfect. You can have butter on top of it. Which is lovely. I love that. I love that bit. Just a little bit salted, beautiful. But normally as well, we'd have some cheddar cheese on top of that. Or Caerphilly cheese.
But it turns a sweet. It turns like a fairly sweet delicacy into something savoury then. You're one or the other, aren't you?
Shane, if you do, I mean, SQ looks like he's going to hoover it all up very shortly. But
I'll have one in a bit.
Yeah, one in a bit. Okay.
Now in a minute?
In other words, no, thank you.
I'll be there now in a minute.
You might have to be quick.
That is lovely.
Welcome back from Australia, because it looks like, I mean, were you in a different time zone to these two? Because you look really well. I mean, if I'm honest with you.
Well, I've been home a week and a half. I've had the Lions lurgy, or the hangover, whichever way you want to call it. I did bump into you twice, I believe.
Yes.
One on like a Super Sunday. On a Super Sunday.
Yeah.
Didn't see Shanks, don't know where he was hiding.
You wouldn't have wanted to.
We mixed in different circles.
He was hiding.
Finally recovered.
Well,
did you take your boots this time? Because I remember I was out there 2013 and you actually got a call up from Gats in 2013. Did you take your boots thinking...
But there was a Legends game as well, Did you play in that?
Yeah, I took my boots not, knowing fully well I wasn't going to get involved in the Lions tour, the official one, but...
you hoped.
Well, I'll tell you what, they picked that many players. You
hoped. I took my boots.
You weren't related to the coach.
The wingers were getting knocked out
from the coach, so you weren't picked.
Look, let's be honest, they didn't pick 25 Welsh players initially, so they weren't going to pick one that retired 10 years ago, let's be honest.
You probably had a better chance.
Yeah. But yeah, I took I played in the Classics match in the Sydney Test, which was an eye-opener.
Who were you up in against?
Well, the two wingers, I was up against Lottie Takiri, obviously a great player when I played against him, big lad.
Yeah.
He's let himself go a little bit?
He's had a good 10 years. He was 146 kilos. I think he's lost a bit of pace, but...
I think we played, Wales played in one of the first games against Lawrence Dallaglio.
Yeah.
And because he was new to Union, we thought we'd kick off on him. So it'd be a long kick-off on the right wing. Kicked off to him. He ran the ball back to the halfway line. And Wendell Saylor, the same.
Change, we'll kick to the other side, or kick to Wendell Saylor, that was a good idea.
He scored a try from his own dead ball line against us.
Yeah. Was that fun, that game? I mean, was there any... I mean, you were in great nick. Was there anyone else that stood out as someone who's a little bit older, or around your age or older, you thought, you know what, fair play to them, they've still got a little bit
more, to be honest. We'll be retired a while, players like Ryan Wilson, who you could probably still be playing, to be fair, I know Andy Powell had trained hard for a year. He'd lost a bit of weight. Wasn't in the nick he used to be in. Lost a bit of weight.
His licence back?
First contact. Done his AC joint, so he's had to have an operation.
Grade 3.
Didn't quite a few people get injured in the first game though?
Yeah, Mike.
Wasn't Drew Mitchell did his hammy?
Drew Mitchell pulled his hamstring, then necked a pint. About 6 others pulled or tore hamstrings. Andy Powell, shoulder.
Yeah.
Mike Ross, torn Achilles.
Can I just say that I knew there was a reason why I always say no to any of those things because you've not done any exercise.
Who was in the worst nick
savage.
then? Who was forget about who was in good nick. Who was in the worst shape?
Well, this is going to sound a bit harsh because he hasn't really changed shape since I played against him probably in 2005, and that's Shane Byrne.
Yeah.
Bless him. But
everything's the same though, isn't it? Same shape, same haircut.
Yeah. I was going to ask if he's still got the mullet.
He honestly doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
But what a tourist.
He loves it though, doesn't he? He's passionate about it.
Yeah, and he really gets stuck in there. You bear in mind now this is a invitational classic game where some of the boys are going, look, let's take it easy, let's have fun, let's have a pint afterwards. And you got Shane just screaming at you, just wanting to be on the field. And what's Shane, 50?
Yeah, at least.
54.
Was there a gentleman's during the game, like for any?
There's always a gentleman's before, but I'm not being funny. After the first tackle, or you've got to face Lottie Takiri, who basically could have ate me if he wanted to. It just goes out the window.
I'd lose my shit. I'd be on a GBH charge. I would absolutely lose your shit. Because the mind still thinks the same, but the body, unfortunately, doesn't quite. Well, yours does, but the body
you get frustrated.
Doesn't quite follow in the same sort of sync.
Wasn't it absolutely hammering it down as well?
In Sydney, I didn't play in the Melbourne game, but Sydney was pouring down. We still had 9,000 supporters come and watch us.
Obviously, you were on the score sheet, were you?
No.
What?
Oh, no, I got one and a half.
Yeah, the run Lottie just carry.
I got 1.5 hamstrings left. There's no sprint left for me, honest to God.
You've achieved everything in your career.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to be on the score sheet.
I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. To be
but you do marathons now, do you know? You don't.
Well, I could have run round the oval about 50 times.
One pace.
20 yards.
Mind you, the ball probably got dropped a few times before it got to you anyway, didn't it?
Well, yeah.
The skills weren't quite there.
I had a couple of touches, but it's. Look, we all know it's the mind's telling you can do it, but I was sidestepping, he was in slow motion. I was only sidestepping because it was Lottie Takiri.
Did you have to tackle him? Were you like a stick in space?
I didn't tackle him when I played against him in 2004.
Were you like a koala?
Well, unfortunately, he was probably quite relieved to fall over onto the floor at this stage once he got running.
There wasn't much tackling going on, let me tell you.
But Sydney was actually like Swansea.
Was it?
It was. It poured down
like the veg field, like the veg field, was it?
For 5 days, didn't it? It absolutely poured down. We saw the third test. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No.
Delay for lightning.
Do you see Ty Furlong though? What would you do? What would if the game is your middle of the match? And you got taken in, would you put your music on? Would you be on? Because they shut the cameras off when Finn Russell was on his phone.
You sit down for it, sit down.
Yeah, you would. You try and probably switch off a little bit.
But you know what it's like. If you're told what time the game is warming up, you've got to just go back into that
pre-match routine.
You know you're going to go back out 20 minutes before the game restarts, so you just got to sit down and have a cup of tea.
Someone actually said they can't believe that someone didn't, with all that rain, run out and knee slide onto the field.
Yeah.
Because that's an opportunity lost, isn't it?
Boogie board onto the...
Yeah.
Stick to Rugby, brought to you by Defender.
How good were the Aussies on the weekend?
Oh,
yes.
22-0 down against the Box looking like they were absolute world beaters. Come back 38-0. So on that premise, we would have beaten South Africa 3-0.
James O'Connor. I mean, people are like...
37, is he? 37, I think.
Yeah.
Well, he first came on the scene. He played against us, didn't he, at home. I think he played 10 of that. No, he played in the wing that game, scored 2 tries there. He's kind of... How old is he? He's got to be about 62.
I think he's 37. I've got to be honest with you, for us to play in One Lions Tour is great, to play in 2 or 3, unbelievable. But for him to play in the first Lions Tour 12 years ago and then to be playing again now.
But his ball to Jorgensen was incredible. Then the offload for, I think it might have been Tom Wright scored. I'm not sure. He was incredible.
Well, there's a method to all that disciplinary suspension, isn't there?
The best though was the fact that there was this massive celebration of Nick White's retirement, the photograph before with the moustaches, and then
the referee's giving him a jersey.
And he trots out 2 weeks
he's come back out of retirement. Well, Listen, we've retired KDM for a little while, and Nolli is going to put you to the test show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, am I? Right, okay.
Only with a little quiz. It just doesn't require any rugby IQ because we're on the show clearly. So,
but we still don't know them.
But just pick your preference. So Nolli, over to you.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Playing for Ospreys or playing for Wales?
Oh, playing for Wales.
Playing for Wales or playing for the Lions?
I think pretty much the same as well. I probably Wales because it was a lifelong dream. I think the Lions is the bonus, isn't it? And you don't really learn about the Lions until you've played for Wales, really, because you're not going to think, right, I'd love to play for the Lions if you haven't played for Wales. So, both equally amazing experiences.
Would you have liked to have been an Olympian as well?
Yeah, probably a high jumper.
Hold on.
What? You need a trumpet.
The worst thing in school, right? I was quite quick in school, but I was really small.
Yeah.
I did gymnastics, yeah, but my PE teacher put me to do hurdles, which was horrendous when you're about 3'6".
Was he English or something?
Oh, it was a nightmare.
Just run under them without touching them.
God.
I digress. Wine or beer?
Oh, beer.
Okay. Sing or dance? I've been in Japan with you doing karaoke.
I like the karaoke.
We've seen
both. You've seen me dance. Yeah, nothing to write home about. Sing probably.
Yeah.
Right, go on then.
No. That was in the contract.
Be a contest on I'm a Celebrity or Strictly Come Dancing?
Well, again, because I can't dance.
Strictly Come Dancing.
Because you can't dance, you'd be a perfect contestant.
And I don't know if my wife would let me go on Strictly Come Dancing.
You fancy a couple of kangaroo balls in your mouth, do you?
That's what he calls
I was going to say.
Like 2000. No comment.
Pizza or pasta?
Probably pizza.
What would you have on the top?
I'm a barbecue, chicken, bacon barbecue.
Oh, like a Domino's, like a real Italian.
Tacky as it sounds, I do like a Domino's. Yeah.
No pineapple though. No, that should be fired immediately.
Yeah,
101 pineapple.
The frown goes.
Disgraceful.
Yeah.
Disgraceful.
City or countryside?
Oh, countryside. Yeah.
Pub or restaurant?
Pub.
And finally, cycle, swim or run?
Oh Jesus. Swimming is carnage. I'm very average at it. Running a marathon, it gets easier the older you get because I'm not a sprinter anymore, but probably cycling is less impact on the joints and everything. And
what's it like with the Ironman? Like the one thing for me that I just look at and think I don't want to do it is the swim and the carnage at the start where people are swimming over the top.
Especially
of each
open
other
water swimming is tough, isn't it?
It is tough. And my first Ironman was in 2015, and I trained my ass off for it, but in a pool. And I'd done like 2 open water swims with about 6 or 7 people. I thought, this will be all right.
Yeah.
But your whole first of all, your technique changes because you've got to look where you're going. In a pool, it's that black line so you follow that. So you've got a sight. And then on Ironman Day, you realise that there's 2,500 people in the water.
It's a proper melee as well, isn't it?
And I was saying earlier, the best advice I ever got was from Richard Webster, obviously ex-Wales and Bridgend and Bath, said, don't worry about it. If anyone comes near you, punch them in the face.
He did on crutches once, didn't he?
Twice.
I played against him a few times.
Twice. His knees have been giving him jip over the years, and he's obviously done it prior, and then his knees were sore, so he did one of his Ironmen with a crutches. And one of the stewards said, you can't use crutches. He said, go on, I dare you to try and grab one. So they just let him finish.
So he did
I think he's done 2.
Has he?
I think he's done 2.
How many have you done?
I've done 7 Ironmen.
Full Ironman though.
Why do you think you do them? Because it's obviously, there's easier things to do.
Well, golf would have been nice, but I'm shit. In 2015, I was playing rugby in Japan, and I got invited to do London Marathon for WWF back then, I think it was. Not the wrestling.
I was going to say.
The
WWE.
The Wildlife Fund,
so I
kind of yearn for the Undertaker.
I went and I finished in Japan. I had about 9 weeks to train for it, and I kind of, I thought, right, okay, I've got to do it. It's on my bucket list. Did it? It was horrendous, right?
Well, for someone who was fast twitch, which you were clearly, to go from fast twitch to suddenly doing that,
it was horrendous.
Yeah.
And I was in the lead for about 60 yards. And I kept choking on it, flew past me. But at the time, it was horrendous. But I just loved the whole atmosphere and being out of my comfort zone and doing something different. But a friend of mine said, look, I sponsor this thing called Ironman, and we've got one down in Tenby in Wales, and it'd be brilliant. You've done your marathon now, you should come and do an Ironman. Right. I said to my mate, I'm going to put my name down and have a think about it. And I went home and kind of read up what Ironman was, and it's basically just over a 2-mile swim.
Oh no, it's horrendous.
112-mile bike ride with a marathon at the end.
112-mile bike ride?
In between, yeah. Then you finish with a marathon. I thought, oh Jesus, this is going to be a bit too much. But I just trained my ass off, and there was a couple of friends doing it, and got to the day and did my first Ironman in 2015. Nearly quit. About 10 times in the water. Sure. On the bike, I had a punch. I thought, stuff this. Eventually got onto the run. I was on my second lap of the run, and I was coming through town. I thought, I'm going to pull out. I can't do this. This is stupid.
The back's hurt and everything.
And I knew my wife and the family were in town, so you want to see a friendly face. And I ran over and I said, look, love, I can't do this. This is horrendous. And she goes, grow up, you pussy. I thought, if you only knew what I'd been through. And I was running away thinking, the cheeky cow, running down the road. But I ended up finishing it. Yeah. And I said then, I want to do this again. Yeah. But I want a good crack at it next year, and I just kept doing it.
And fair play to you, well done, because I take my hat off to anyone who does any. I'm a big cyclist. The swimming, no, and the running I really struggle with because of my weight. But have you got anything coming up planned, and in the foreseeable? I
got my 8th Ironman in September down in Tenby again in Pembrokeshire.
So what keeps you going back then?
I do it for charity. I'm ambassador now for a number of charities, and I do that's also with Ironman. Yeah. One, I like the fact I can still compete at something. Don't get me wrong. I'm hundreds away from winning the thing, but I like competing against other people. Myself, my brother does it. A couple of my best mates do it. So I train with them anyway. And you get to the day, and still get those nerves on the beach. In Tenby, they play the Welsh national anthem before you get out there, along with Thunderstruck, AC/DC, which is hell of a combo.
I think you'd be right. We should do that for the first one.
Yeah.
It's a remix, is it?
Yeah, honestly, but it's just, and I get nervous as hell, and, you get in the water then, and it's absolute carnage. And also as well, it mentally for me, it says, look, Shane, you can still do this kind of stuff. Yeah. You're not, you don't belong on a rugby field anymore because one, you're going to get snapped in half, or your other hamstring's going to get ripped in half. Yeah. So it just fills the void from rugby. Yeah. It's a really good social training. Yeah. Go for a bike ride. It's like go for a coffee, go for a little run, coffee on the beach, and it just keeps me going.
So you mentioned, Shane, that it was always a dream to play for Wales. You grew up in the Amman Valley. You must have been really sporty as a youngster because your father put a bet on you to play for Wales when you were young.
Yeah, he did.
And it came in.
It did come in. And
did he put any other bets on you to do other things?
I don't know, he obviously...
Win Cheltenham race.
He won the bet, didn't he? He won the bet, and he's living in Thailand now, so I don't know whether... look, the ins and outs of it, I don't know, but when I was really young, probably about 12 years of age, I was pretty sharp at 12, but I went to comprehensive school, and everyone just kind of grew and got better physically, and so I played football in school, and I'd done gymnastics for 6 years, which I'd recommend to any youngster coming through. It was massive in my physical development. And then I kind of went off the radar. I didn't play rugby, played football. So my old man must have been thinking, never mind. Yeah. Never mind. But then 2008, we were playing France in the last game, and we were going to the stadium, and my father phoned me whilst I was on the bus, and basically told me that if I'd scored in that game and become the all-time top try scorer, that he'd win something like £25,000. Whether or not that's the figure,
pressure, no pressure then.
Yeah, and that week as well, there was a great feeling in the camp. We almost felt like this was our Six Nations. We'd only conceded 2 tries the whole championship. We played some lovely rugby. I'd scored a couple of tries. Boys were on fire. On this game, I was pretty confident, pretty relaxed. It was going to go okay. Then received that phone call and thought, oh shit.
I better not tell anyone.
But obviously, went on and we won the game. I did score.
Got an intercept, didn't you?
Well, no, you call it intercept, but it was a.
What, from his own
it was
team?
A crap pass ball went down. I kicked it through. And then Nugget sealed the win for us. So pretty interesting.
And was your dad somewhere close to the truth? Was it?
Well,
was it nearly
he put the bet on. He was in the stadium, absolutely rat-assed, as you can imagine, after the try. And hasn't bought me a pint since.
Didn't you negotiate the fee? Well, I'll only stick it down 10%.
You know what it's like. Over time, the bet might have only been like £100 or something, or the win was, but it seems to grow as time goes on. But look, it's the same. The Wayne Rooney, his uncle, put a bet on us.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's very similar.
So Shane, and tell us what Ammon Valley was like then. I mean, was it a typical sort of Welsh valley town? Is it?
Yeah, it's tiny, really. It's small, but it bats above his average when you look at rugby players. You know,
sport in general. There's a lot of
Really, you got your football, your cricket, a couple of strong club sides down there. Jack Morgan from my school and lives up the road.
Over the top of the mountain?
Yeah, his family. I've known for years. Rianne, his mother, was in my class in school. In fact, she was one of my first girlfriends. Yeah. Okay. I was 11 years old, right? So don't get excited about it.
I was trying to
yeah. He doesn't look like you.
No.
It's not that type of podcast, actually. But
But
a special announcement.
Trevor Evans played for the British and Irish Lions. Hannah Jones, Welsh women's captain.
Is it a Welsh-speaking area?
Yeah. Predominantly, actually. Even when you go further, Swansea, where you got a Stilvera.
Clive Rowlands used to live in Cwmdor.
Over by there. Over by you.
They are Clive Rowlands. Yeah, lots of
Gareth Edwards wasn't far from there.
Gareth Edwards actually is GCG, Gwauncae Girwen, 3 miles from my house.
Yeah.
So there's some pretty special talent from down there. I've never seen the need to move from there. Property prices are cheap. The only time I moved was Japan for 3 years, but was one extreme to the other.
Is it true that you were too tall to go on the rides in Japan?
Well, yeah, and the joke is I played second row out there as well.
I started that one.
Yeah.
They signed you as a second row, didn't they?
I was big in Japan and all. I've heard it all,
Before we get to Japan, though, and before we, obviously you were IRB Player of the Year 2008, the record try scorer for Wales. There was a coach that said at one stage you were too small to play rugby.
Yeah.
Was that Steve Hansen?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of coaches that have said that over the years, to be fair. Look, in school I was told on a weekly basis, they didn't want me to play because I was small, when you kind of come out of childhood then and you've grown a little bit and you've gone through the teens and you sign your first professional contract, you kind of think, right, maybe that's kind of gone out the window. But when I played for Neath, there'd always be something in the papers, good player, scored a nice try, but is his defence good enough? Is he big enough? Is he physical enough?
Constantly throughout your career, people questioning you because of size.
Yeah. It's a great developer, and it's great to settle him, to motivate and settle resilience, but it gets on your nerves after a bit. And then when I did eventually play for Wales, obviously played in 2000.
That was under Graham Henry, though, wasn't it?
Played under Graham in 2000. Steve Hansen comes on board, and I'm told straight away that I'm not going to fit his mould of a winger. They were looking at Gar Thomas,
Dav
James, Nick Warren, these
Mark
guys.
Jones.
James Botham, not James, sorry. Liam Botham, James's dad. And I thought, right, okay, I'm not going to fit in here, but determined to kind of prove wrong. But the first meeting we had, he literally said, look, Shane, do not take offence when I say this, but you're not big enough, you're not physical enough, I'm not going to pick you in the Welsh squad. And I just remember thinking, how do you not take offence to that? And I was almost dropped on the spot, and it was heartbreaking because a year before that, I'd scored.
How long did it take you to prove him wrong?
The World Cup 03, wasn't it?
It was almost by undesign, really. In fact, he didn't want to pick all the players. He said, give everybody a game against New Zealand, and that's where you flourished. Because I remember, right, when you were in there, and you talk about that, you talk about wanting to prove yourself. When you came into the squad in that early 2000s, you just knew when you were there, whether you played a scrum half, where you were on the wing, always wanted the ball, you had pace, you had that little bit of cheekiness about you, you know what I mean, bounce off everybody, and it was just, you could see then, this kid is going to be special.
I think for me, and Graham was great, and Gats was brilliant. I almost had a free roll as long as I did my work and what I was meant to be doing and being in the right areas. He said, "Look, just go look at the ball. I want you to get 20 plus touches every game." I was like, "Brilliant! This is right up my street," and I flourished within that. But Steve was a bit more structured, and obviously I played for Wales in 2000, scored 3 tries in my first kind of Six Nations campaign. Went on a development tour, played Wales Sevens against the likes of Lomo and all that. I thought, this is amazing, this is incredible. A year further down the line, Steve comes on board, drops me from the squad completely, and I was out of the squad for about 18 months, where I really felt sorry for myself. I was like,
it's tough.
Why is this guy not like me? You know, what should I be doing? I put on weight and I put on muscle really, really quickly to try and prove this guy, you know, that I wanted to be there. I was having injuries. I was losing form because I wasn't fit. And it was a horrible, vicious circle. And I think it took me about 18 months where I just thought, right, Shane, take a backward step. Let's don't worry about all our muscle. Don't worry about that weight. Let's just get fit again. Let's get fast again. And let's make sure we can have a run of games. Because it was Neath at the time, for Neath. And when I played for Neath, I wasn't playing well. So I did that, and World Cup was around the corner.
Yeah, so you were picked in the World Cup in 2003, but you were picked mostly as a third scrum half, more than a winger. And the game that sticks out was New Zealand. It was the last pool game, wasn't it, before the quarterfinals? And you were ill all week.
Yeah.
And you were 50-50 whether or not you were going to play or not. And thank God you played, because your sort of career came back to where it started.
Yeah, well, the funny thing was, like I started playing well, and I got selected as a third choice scrum half to go to the World Cup, and which, you know, was bizarre because I hadn't played scrum half for about 3 seasons before that. And I'm the worst scrum half in the world. I don't like passing, you know, and I don't kick. So, you know.
Yeah, wingers tend to not
show and go, every time.
I started in scrum half and quickly moved away because I didn't like passing.
No, well, you know, that's why you go on the wing, isn't it, really? And so I knew then when I was taken, I thought, right, Shane, it's a bit of a cop-out, but I went on the tour, went to the World Cup, and it was so frustrating because we played Canada, Italy, Tonga, won the games 40, 50 points. Every single player's had minutes on the field. I'm the only player not to. I thought, you know, this just isn't going to happen here. This guy really doesn't like what I'm about. And then we'd qualified already, and we had New Zealand in the last game, and he basically said, like, let's give everyone a rest, send the boys in, cannon fodder, just get through the game because it doesn't really matter of the results.
We're not
JT, I was going to say wherever you're selected.
We're unlikely to win the match, so you know, just send them. But
and it was. There was no master plan, right? And so and I remember the week before the game, I got selected. I was like, this is amazing. The next day, I get up in the morning with Lurgy. I guess I was sharing with Rob McBride. They kick Rob out and they say, Shane, you've got 2 days or 3 days to get fit, otherwise you're not playing. And I was awful, right? Didn't leave my room. I was in hell of a mess, and I thought, this is just not going to happen. Then the morning before we had a kind of team run, Andrew Hoare comes and he goes, how you feeling? And I was rough as hell. I said, I'm brilliant, feel great. He said, don't bullshit me. He said, we'll give you another 12 hours. And I want an honesty call. So I woke up in the morning. I thought, look, I'm all right. I'm okay. I can do it. It's only the All Blacks. And
it's not like it's Tonga.
No. And you know, luckily enough, I kind of made the cut, made the game. And
which position?
I was on the right wing on that.
I was on the left wing.
Yeah, he was never going to play me scrum half. Like that was never happening. He had my position on the left there with 11.
That's why.
Yeah, and I just went out there, and we all did, I think, with the mentality of, look, we're probably not going to get another game. Let's just go for it. And we just played the most expansive game of rugby Wales has ever played. We just offloaded everything. We just had a real crack. We took it to the line. We took the All Blacks on. We were amazing on the day.
It was brilliant.
30 odd points against the All Blacks. Yeah. All right, granted, we conceded 50, you know, but we came off the field and we thought, right, there you are, brilliant. And I honestly came off that field thinking, you've proven the point, you know. Not thinking I'm going to be playing against you guys in the quarters. But I thought, I'd done myself.
We played our last pool match. I remember coming in and watching that game on TV, and you know, no one expected it, and seeing you score a couple of tries, and And it was at that point, it was actually 30, 36, 32 or something. I mean, it was an unbelievable
Voted game of the tournament.
It was unbelievable.
Better than your final.
And we thought, hold on a minute, we could be playing for Wales in the semi-final.
Yeah. It was bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We just had a crack on the field. We just loved it. We were scoring tries for fun. We were conceding tries for fun as well.
It shows that the psychology of players that don't have those restraints on them. Like, I remember, like, my last season when I knew I was probably going to retire from England, and actually my mindset totally changed, and I played some of my best rugby because of it, because there was just not that pressure. And you see all of those people, you know, and people are saying, one more year, but actually, you know physically you're done or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I just wondered, Shane, whether when you went on to have the most incredible career, right? And did you ever get the chance to speak to Steve Hansen and say, do you remember that day when you told me I was too small, not physical enough? I said, or maybe you didn't, going up and telling him that's a bit strange, but him coming up to you and saying, you know what, I actually got it wrong.
No, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah. No,
what was your try celebration? Was it towards the coaching box?
I don't think I got the balls to tell that to Steve, because he's a scary individual.
Yeah, well, he's a policeman, wasn't he?
Look, as pissed off as I was at the time, I always look back and think, do you know, if he hadn't have done that and I hadn't had that, perhaps I wouldn't have got to where I got to. Yeah. Like, I played that All Blacks game like it was the last game I'd ever play. Like, and I tell the kids, play it like it's the last game of rugby you'll ever play. Yeah. And I never got the opportunity to speak to him, but in 2008, I was lucky enough to be named World Player of the Year. Thanks for bringing that up, Shanks.
It's okay.
I know you're part of it.
I was on the board.
Still owe you the £5. And when I went up to receive basically the trophy off Brian Urbano had won it the year before, I remember thinking, oh, this is incredible. All that hard work doesn't get any better than this. Yeah. And I turned around, and Steve Hansen and the All Blacks were in the first kind of tables and chairs right in front of me. I thought, it does get better, because he gets to see that.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So you've answered my question. You didn't actually need to say anything, did you, really? It was there in front of him.
Yeah, it was just perfect. But I honestly think him doing that made me the player I eventually was.
When you look back in your career now, which was your favourite era playing in?
Oh, easily 2008. I think we knew we were a good side then. We had some real threat behind.
Is that the Gatland-Edwards combo taking over?
100%.
We just got kicked out of the World Cup in 2007.
Yeah, 2007 was bizarre for me, because I'd had a shoulder and an ulnar relocation operation in 2007 summer, and I had like 8 weeks to get ready for the World Cup, and I trained my ass off. Got to the World Cup, running, hit the ground running, and played pretty well. But then we get knocked out of the World Cup, unfortunately, by Fiji.
Which again was the game of the tournament.
Yeah.
It's not about the games of the tournament.
No,
it's the trophy.
It is. It is. It's not about winning it.
Can I just say, the whole aim and ambition of a World Cup is to be the last game.
I was going to say, you do realise we're meant to be winning these games.
Not for us, mate.
But I tell you what, though, so you talk about those two World Cup campaigns, 2011 was the biggest frustration for me as a Welshman, because I was out there for the semi-finals and the finals.
That Sam Warburton being sent off.
Yeah. But take that sending off on one side.
The best sending
we could easily still have won that game.
Oh, yeah, we could have, and we, we truly believed we should have.
Yeah.
When we knew we had France, we were looking at their performance in the World Cup. They'd lost against Tonga. They were very, very average, and we were like, look, we want to be this side of the draw. We were quite confident in that World Cup. We'll play some nice rugby, and then obviously the game didn't go the way we wanted to, and Sam had the red card. So that was done and dusted. There was opportunities to score tries. We butchered a couple of opportunities. I don't know many 3-pointers we missed on the day, which is uncharacteristic of the likes of Harfers and the players we had on the field. And it just wasn't to be. And that's one of the things that, one of the big regrets, is not getting to that World Cup final, because we truly believed before the World Cup started. We went to Poland again. We trained really hard there. A lot of fitness, wrestling at 6 a.m, cryo chambers. We came really confident with that World Cup. Young players were doing well, like George North, Halfpenny, Tips, and these guys with a lot of experience. And we thought, you know what? If there's a time we can really go for a World Cup, it is now. So that hurt more, than when we lost you guys in 2003. you know, we'd almost done well to kind of get to
you
that.
Weren't quite well. The game against New Zealand and us, you obviously weren't quite ready at that point.
No, and we would, you know, looking back, and you know, we loved the experience. But in 11, and I'm looking, this is my last World Cup. I'm thinking, this is the one that got away, boys, because you know New Zealand were pretty awful in the final as well.
Yeah.
If France could have won the World Cup, having had a pretty average World Cup, you know, so that stung, and it still stings now, you know, and it is the one that got away. And I remember being on the field afterwards thinking, Shane, this is your last World Cup, mind. I'm thinking, oh God, I'm never going to win a World Cup.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's overrated, mate.
Yeah, I have the idea.
Warren Gatland was on the podcast a few months ago, and he told us a story about how you offered him out one night. And it's only right that we give you the right to reply and tell your side of the story.
No, look, the funny thing was, you know, with Gats, our first game of the Six Nations in 08 was England, and straight away from the get-go, Gats was like, when we win the Grand Slam, you know, if we beat England, then we're going to win the Grand Slam because we win away from home, they're the favourites, etc. So we went up to Twickenham, won the game. We're like, Jesus, this guy's a genius. You know, it wasn't 6 months ago we were losing to Fiji in the World Cup. And after the game, you know, Gats, he loves a beer, loves the social side of it.
Or 20,
yeah. And he's gone, boys, have a beer after the game, you know, enjoy it, but we've got to get on the bus because we've got to get back. So we get back on the bus, someone's put some cans on the bus, and I have drunk far too much beer by the time we get to Cardiff. Get to Cardiff, the Vale, have a few more beers in the hotel. Go to bed eventually in the evening or the morning, whatever it is, and thought nothing of it. Woke up next morning, fully clothed on my bed. Went to pool recovery, and Shanks has waited for me, and he's like, good night last night, Shane. Yeah, why? He said, I just wondered if you remember offering Warren Gatland out for a fight. No, I had no recollection whatsoever.
So you immediately thought, he's winding me up.
Well, it's Shanks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not only does he look funny, he's actually quite a funny guy.
I'll stab you in the back. First chance.
Threw me straight under the bus. But I just thought, right, okay, he's deadly serious. I went up and spoke to Gats, and I said, Gats, look, I'm really sorry about last night. And Gats has gone, you know, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. And he goes, what are we talking about, Shane? I'm thinking, oh, Shanks, you've had me about here. You've had me about. So we have a nice little chat, and then Gats kind of is behind his desk. He gets up and he goes, look, Shane, you've got to go because we've got video analysis. Yeah. And walks me to the door. And he kind of ushers me through the door, and he's holding the door. And as he walked through, he goes, but Shane, if you call me a fat, useless Kiwi prick again, you're not going to play for Wales. And slams the door in my face. So apparently, it did happen. But
he loved it.
He loved it. Honest to God, right? He
like Scrappy
he's a star.
Doo.
He's an absolute star, and it kind of broke the ice for us, really. Believe it or not, he's never been malice about it. He says the story with a joke and a glint in his eye, and I seen him out in Australia on the Lions tour. You know, so like we haven't been apart.
The problem is,
guy.
You could always say to somebody, don't worry about it if you're scoring the amount of tries that you used to score. Yeah. You know what I mean? What was your favourite try in a Welsh jersey?
God, it's really.
It's tough.
It is tough.
I'll tell you the one. Should I tell you?
Yeah, go on, you.
That one against Scotland. It was the final play of the game.
Yeah.
We're losing to Scotland at home. I hadn't been heard of back in then. Yeah. You know what I mean? We'd just be Scotland for fun.
2010.
2010.
And it was.
It was. Yeah, sorry.
When you scored under those posts, I've never seen. I've been there when we beat Ireland for a Grand Slam. Yeah. Remember that? But that moment in time when you scored that try, I've never seen the stadium actually all rise at the same time.
Shaking,
there was beer everywhere. Bouncing. There was people, and all of a sudden, there he is. Shane scored another try. That for me was probably iconic. One of your tries.
Yeah, it was incredible. I never lost to Scotland really. So you know, we were in a position where we didn't play well first half. We were outplayed by Scotland. I still, to this day, feel a little bit sorry for them.
Really?
But we ended up, well, yeah, a little bit. But we kept, you know, we just second half, we were the better team. We got back into the game, let a couple of tries go. And with minutes to play, we just thought, look, they're out on their feet. And they were out on their feet. They had 2 guys yellow carded. we were looking at the clock thinking, right, if you don't kick straight out here, we've got a real good crack at this. And obviously we had our 3-pointer, half hour scored down the edge. And it was basically, you know, all or nothing. Just keep hold of the ball. And I remember the first play, we were like, what are we doing? It's just Steve Jones going, right, just keep hold of the ball, keep hold of the ball. And the first play is a crossfield kick. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, you know, luckily it bounces straight back into Half's hands. And, you know, we eventually go on and win the game. And I score a try in the dying seconds, really. You know, again, probably one of the easiest tries I'll ever score.
Hardest
maybe as important.
What's the hardest try you scored?
I think the hardest was more mental than physical, was scoring my last try for Wales.
Really?
In the Principality Stadium, full capacity crowd against Australia. We'd lost the game, and I scored literally again, last play of the match. I remember scoring a try thinking, that's it, Shane. You're not never going to do that.
It'll be the last time you're going to dot down,
And it broke my heart, you know. To the point where I was like, am I doing the right thing by retiring? I was, you know, I knew I was ready. But just scoring that try and knowing that I'd never do that ever again, my kids on the side of the field was the toughest ever, honestly. That was brilliant though.
But for someone like yourself who was famous for his speed, his agility and for scoring spectacular tries, everywhere we look on your stats when we did the research, you've been scoring tries. And when you joined Neath at 21, I think you played some 160 games for Neath, but you scored over 650 points or something.
Yeah.
I mean, this try scoring, it followed you throughout your entire career.
Yeah, and look, as far as I was concerned, that was my job. You know, you look at
like a centre forward, really.
Yeah, you're Ronaldo, you're Harry Kane. You're there to score points, score goals, and score tries. And you know, I took that very personal. That's what I need to be doing. And otherwise, what's the point of having a 5'6", 75 kilo winger on the field that's not doing anything else really? So that was my job, and that's what I did. I scored a lot of points for Neath because I actually had one season where I was the kicker as well.
Right.
I'd hate to see my stats.
Did you score more tries under the post when you were kicking than when you weren't kicking?
Yeah, because if I kicked from a touchline, I wouldn't reach a post.
What was it like?
It was tough.
Yeah, the lens.
What was it like for you guys having someone like Shane on your team? You know, obviously, we've all played with amazing players, but someone so prolific. When you saw that he was there, he was fit.
You just wanted to give him touches. So you'd see a lot of his tries, and I had to sacrifice myself a lot for that. So I had to take the width you know, because obviously you
need a story throughout your career.
You need someone on the wing. You need someone on the wing to keep the width, and that just allowed Shane to. Because I could never do what Shane could do, you know. But that just allowed Shane to have a free run. And
so what was the call? What was the call? We got this great call. Give it Shane.
Yeah, sacrifice Shanks. But it was. I mean, and that was a lot, especially in 2008 when you were probably at your peak, I think.
100%.
He just wanted as many touches on the ball as possible. So after sort of a set piece, it would just be a free roam. And, you know, a lot of tries are scored from sort of kick receipt where the centres have to go back and then Shane would just pop up anywhere. But you had to give him that freedom. You had to give him that freedom to look for the ball, to find the ball, because he could do something that none of us else could do. He could make a half break. He could just pop up absolutely anywhere, whether it's pick and go, whether it's out wide. So, you know, our job was just to basically facilitate him and do what we could do for him.
Did you ever try and run an offload line behind him?
Loads of times. He never needed to use me.
He was never a shot.
I tapped you on the back once.
Yeah, Italy.
Against Italy. He scores a wonder try against Italy in 2008. And I'm just zigzagging trying to find a support line. And he doesn't need me, and I just end up tapping him on the back as he's running over.
Do you know the worst thing about that? Right? I was on the try line, right? And I remember thinking to myself, how the hell has Shanks got up in the same line as me, tapping me on the back? That's taking the piss. But no, I think also I read the game really well. So I cheat in like you watch his scrum halves now. They pass the DuPont. He gets the ball out. He's already in front of the ball, and then I kind of read the game well. I would be able to read a mismatch quite early on and get the ball. And it was just work great. I would work, my socks off just to get in positions where almost try and be ahead of the play and look at the players I had. Like if I play with Shanks was a very straight runner. He loved these unders lines, and I would kind of look at him thinking, right, okay, there's no point me standing here now, because if Shanks gets the ball, I'm too far behind him to get involved. Or if he comes on that line, why not go out the back of him? So I'm another option. And then if he made the line break, no offence, Shanks, I'd sometimes...
But you are the option.
Catch up with Shanks.
He is expendable. You are the option.
Yeah.
You'd have to slow down to watch him make a break.
But also you've got to play with these kind of... You've got to play with good players.
Yeah, of course.
Like I played with Gavin Henson, right? Naturally, the most gifted player I've ever seen. But when you play with him such a long time, I could read his game as well. I knew exactly where he was going. Jamie Roberts, I knew where Jamie Roberts was going 100% of the time. It was straight and hard.
So most other people do. I just couldn't work out.
Just got to stop him, and I'd work off his shoulders. I play with Foxy a little bit, John.
You're adapting your game
different.
to different personnel.
For me, I just wanted I wanted to get my hands on the ball.
Yeah.
I wanted 20 plus touches a game, which is unheard of as a winger.
Of course, yeah.
And if I got anywhere near that, I would usually do a couple of positive things.
And you scored some absolute worldies, but the game is both sides of the ball. And I was chatting to Sean Edwards a little while ago, and I said, what made Shane Williams such an incredible player? And he said, well, you're 80 kilos old, were you? 75, 80 kilos?
Yeah, just under.
But he said, but you could squat something like 240, 275 kilos or something silly like that.
There's a big difference between 240 and 275. Yeah. Oh, that's harsh.
That's harsh.
You're right.
But he said that that strength, that pure strength that you had allowed you to do things that other players, maybe only Jason Robinson and one or two others could do. You were able to change direction, do things. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and lucky I had a short back and a fat ass.
You talk about the physical side of being this wonder athlete, but you just talked about how much you knew what your teammates were doing. Like, how much were you studying the game and actually analysis, understanding your teammates? Because as a fullback, I would know who kicked off the left, the right, the kicking triggers, everything. So because you are reading so much of the opposition, and also so that you can come into the game. Was that an important part?
Obviously, I did a lot of analysis on, probably not as much as, there's some boys who were obsessed on analysis.
Yeah.
I'd usually look at who I was playing against, and if it'd be Brian Abana, I knew exactly what he was doing, he knew exactly what I was doing. I knew every player's game inside out, and I knew exactly what lines they run, I know how they defended, and I knew how I had to defend. And going back to Sean Edwards, when he came on board in 2008, I wasn't a big leaguey. I knew who he was.
Yeah.
I never watched really rugby league and didn't see how they defended. And he took me to the side. He said, "Shane, you're defensive leader." I was like, "Sean, I'm 75 kilos. I'm 5'6". He goes, "No, you've got to lead the charge. We're going to defend in a blitz, in a rugby league blitz style, where Wasps has been doing it, where your winger comes up on the outside, almost stops the ball coming to the wingers, so we win. You come from outside to in, so you're literally jamming in to smash someone." I was thinking, Jesus, I don't know if I could do this.
He did say to me, actually, he said, as much as scoring is what wins games, stopping people scoring is what wins games. And he said, whilst he admired your ability to score tries, what he really admired was your ability to learn to defend the way that he wanted you to. And he said you work very, very hard. We're not necessarily all the best defenders straight away in our rugby careers, and you learn, you adapt. And was that quite a surprise for you to because maybe you hadn't spent, give me the ball is natural for a winger, but stopping another winger scoring a try is equally as important.
100% Sean was a massive influence in me progressing and getting better as a player, as an overall player. And I think, when we used to defend, we used to go up straight and then push defenders out.
Like most of us.
It was an outside tackle, round the legs usually, and I was comfortable with that because there wasn't people, Lottie Takiri's running straight at me.
Yeah, sure.
And I could usher them to the touchline. I always had 15 to help me if I needed it. And it helps having a good 13. So when he said, no, you lead the charge, so you stand a bit wide and you come in and you blitz that outside guy, you've got to read it. Because if that ball goes over him and to the outside guy, don't worry about him. You can always pull out and kind of cover. 15's your man. He said, this is your channel. And I remember being absolutely petrified because one is Sean Edwards telling me to do this. And if you didn't do it right, you'd know about it.
Yeah, sure.
So I spent, bear in mind, this is just before the Six Nations. I spent a good month where we'd be going over where I need to stand, where I need to come in, how to read the game. If the pass is early, you can slow down a little bit because, they've already made the pass. But if it's a long looping pass and you're up in the line, you've got to smash that guy. And I'm normally giving 20 kilos away, let's be honest. So I kind of learnt that side of it. So I was comfortable. I was doing it in training.
Yeah.
But then Sean would literally, after every training session, go, "Shane, come with me."
Yeah. And you do more extras.
he'd take me up the indoor training centre in the Vale, and he had tractor tyres.
I remember, yeah.
Tractor tyres, and he'd roll these tractor tyres at me, right? And initially...
What are they from? Toy tractors?
No, yeah, corgis.
The gymnastics came and he died wrong.
You must have thought this bloke is off his head.
I'd get absolutely smashed, right? And if the tyres weren't available, he'd run at me. And he was like, he'd run with his elbows and everything. So if I went high, you're walking away with a split lip or something. So he absolutely battered me. And I remember at the time hating every second of it. And then I'd hear the double doors go in the barn, right? And I used to dread it because, say Alan Wynne walks in or Jamie Roberts, he'd go, Jamie, come and run at Shane for 20 minutes. And he'd literally give him the ball and it was like, bang, bang, over the top of me. Tackle, miss the tackle. Right, get back up, let's do it again. Yeah. And I got absolutely pummeled, and I hated it with a passion. But we went to that Six Nations, and I got to the point where I was so comfortable. Vinocola playing and these big lumps for England.
The volcano.
The volcano. And I was thinking, I actually like this. It means that I'm up in the face of the defender. I'm not allowing him to run at me. Yeah. I was like, it kind of suits me.
Do you know what? He obviously thought you were very special because he used to do that with only the special players.
There's a nice clip of Sean when he scores his try against Italy, and he's like that. What a player! You can see it in the box.
Yeah, but Sean definitely elevated me 10 times the player I was because. You can imagine that's given me so much confidence as well.
Of course.
That Six Nations, we conceded 2 tries, I think.
And listen, I knew it worked because we'd won trophy after trophy with blitz defence. The other thing about Sean is that he's just very honest with the way he speaks to players, and he tells you things that you know are going to happen in a game of rugby, so you can relate to them. But do you have any memories of anything? He also used to say some really strange stuff, both to you as a player, and he said it to me, he might have said it to you, like, shit, defence isn't that thing that goes around the garden, stuff like that, do you remember any of those?
He was a character anyway. I remember we used to go up to the gym to do weights, and Sean would be in there on the punch bag.
In his underpants?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh. Either in his underpants and like school shoes. But we'd go up there, say like weights was at 9 o'clock, and you're always told to be on time, and punctuation. You've got to be there. You've got to be punctual. You've got to be ready. And we'd walk in there, and he'd be like 5 to 9, and Sean's on the.
Have you ever seen the punch bag move? I've seen Sean do thousands of hours on a punch bag. I've never seen the punch bag move.
I've never seen the punch bag make noises like that
either. but we'd be waiting for him to finish till about 9:10, because his session wasn't over. So we'd all be there like waiting, thinking, right, okay, who's going to tell him? Weights to meant to be starting. And we'd literally just let him finish, and then we'd kind of get on with it. But I remember the first game when we played England 2008 up in Twickenham. I remember the team talk was, about getting stuck in and defence and this, that and the other. And as we were running out, I could hear Sean behind me go, come on, fucking hate these English bastards. I was thinking, hold on, where are you from, Sean? Little things like that. No,
George's cross on his arm.
Yeah, just meant, he's a crazy bloke, but I love him a bit.
We talked about Wales. We talked about the tries. Lions experiences. What was it? What was it like for you?
Obviously, it's a huge honour to represent and get the opportunity. And 05, it was tough. I found it really tough being away from home for that period of time. Yeah. What I found really bizarre about 05 was not having a roommate.
Yeah. No, Clive Woodward got that wrong massively. He knows that, and I think on reflection. I mean, I only lasted 21 minutes of the tour, really, and then had to go home. And we played against the New Zealand side that were at the peak of their, just coming up to the peak of their powers, really.
10.
And Wales were a good side. You'd won the Grand Slam with that Gavin Henson kick, but the rest of the other nations, I don't think were really firing as well as they should. It was a tough assignment.
It was tough, and look, loved the experience, and I loved the honour of putting the jersey on, and. Great to see all the Lions fans out there and bumping into people I hadn't seen for a while. But that second test for me was probably one of the only games I'm watching a player thinking, this guy is just head and shoulders above anyone in World Rugby. Like Dan Carter was incredible, and it was the most smart play I've ever seen by a team. with New Zealand, taking players off the ball, holding players in breakdowns. I remember chasing Dan Carter once on the outside because I knew I had the gas to kind of have him. I think Sayalo's just literally tackled me off the ball, and Dan Carter puts the kick through and he scores in the right hand corner.
And they got away with some stuff there.
And I was just like,
and you just thought,
the first time.
But even though they were getting away with it, in my head I was thinking, these guys are geniuses. They're so clever. You know, they're miles ahead of anyone else because they were allowed to get away with it. But yeah, it was a great experience. 2009 was a bit different because was the series we should have won. You know, we just the Stain kick in the second test which took all the stuffing out of us really in a game we should have won. One of the most physical rugby matches you'll ever watch. And I had the pleasure of a cameo role in the second test, but starting the third test and winning the game. You know, bittersweet really when you've lost the series, but that for me was up with one of my favourite games as well. You know, just having the chance really to represent Lions in a full test was incredible.
I know it was a cameo you said in that second test, but that test has gone down as one of the most brutal games in test history. You know, that second test against South Africa, and it was like people say it was like a war zone in the change room after the game. It was like A&E.
It was carnage, and you kind of you're told to prepare for it. You are, but you know, you look back now at some of the clips just from that game. You know, some of the hits. Backy's boat there was just a great player, but he wouldn't last a second on the field these days. You know, everything he did was to try and disrupt and injure. That was his job. You know, he wasn't going to score 60-yard tries, was he? And he wasn't. You know, he wasn't there to kind of light the world alight. But he's just an absolute menace around the field, and he did his job. You know, and like some Matt Field scrapping with Mike Phillips. Surprise.
Didn't Mike Phillips give you a little dig before, quite a big day before?
Well, he still denies this, but I was getting married in 05 and we were playing Cardiff, and we kicked long to Cardiff, and I've kind of chased the ball. Mike's caught it, made the tackle, and he's sent me an uppercut and gone, have that for your wedding photo.
No.
Bear in mind, you know, me and Mike are good mates, but yeah, it's fair to say he's quite a fiery character.
Was he at the wedding? Well, that's why though, isn't it?
Uninvited after that one, but
you black eye for your wedding.
Best mates, but you're uninvited.
Yeah, but no. The thing is, though, with Mike, that's where you go. You know, he was. If there's one player, if you were to say, right, if we were to have a game today now, and you want to play, and he's got to hold your corner, and he's got to front up, and he's got to be tough, it's Mike Phillips all day long. You know, because it was like having a back rower as a scrum half that could pass. He's pretty quick for his size as well, and just loved getting into people. Getting into people, and that's what you want really in these guys. I bumped into him on the Lions actually, and he hasn't changed one bit. Right, we watched the I believe it was the second test, and together in one of the corporates, and it was Simon Shaw, myself, Mike, and Simon Zebo next to him. And this fella came over. He goes, "Will you sign the ball?" Boss, yeah. So I signed the ball, and Mike's gone, "Can I borrow your pen?" Yeah, no problem. So Mike's turned to the side, like that, and he's gone, "I got the Simon Zebo." Now what he's got a signed picture of himself in his pocket, and he's gone, "To Simon, from your favourite player, Mike Phillips." I just thought, you don't ever change, Mike.
Yeah. But, listen, you brought your stellar career, and it was stellar, unbelievable, and it's been great and fascinating to hear about it, to an end in 2011. Little did you know you're going to play another game for the Lions, which is unbelievable.
It's incredible, isn't it?
But you got a phone call from the Mitsubishi Dynaboars to go out and play in Japan. I just want to ask you a little bit about what that experience was like, because as a Welshman, moving away from home is a big step.
Yeah.
You know, being away for a long time, like you said on the Lions tour, is tough, right? What made you say yes to that?
I literally had a phone call late one evening, and from Mitsubishi Heavy Industry Dynaboars, that's the full name, and they said, "Look, we want you to come to Tokyo. We want you to be a player, and we want you to coach the young players and be an ambassador, basically." And I was thinking to myself, look, I've never really moved from a 3-mile radius from where I live. Yeah. My wife obviously lives there as well. I said, "Oh, look."
Your wife lives in the same house as you?
Well, no, same area. That's unusual. Yeah. And I thought, well, no, I don't think this is for me. It's a bit extreme, considering I've been at the same club.
Big move as well away. That's a long way.
The same club all my career, and that club became the Ospreys, and plenty of opportunities to move elsewhere over the years. And I thought, no, look, I'm not going to do this. And they said, look, Shane, just let us send you an email with the offer and the contract, and get back to us in 24 hours. And I literally kind of opened my email and the following morning, and there was a sponsored car.
Did you read the telephone number out to your wife then?
Yeah, pretty much. And
she went unpacking the bags.
Yeah, we're off. And it was apartment, and they were offering my wife a job. The kids, I had 2 young children, could go to school there, and that would all be paid for, which was very expensive. And then the wage was at the bottom. And I'd never seen so many zeros in all my life, and I just screamed at the wife, "Pack your bags, love, we're going."
And do you think
I was there on the Wednesday?
On the Wednesday.
And do you think the experience in Japan, in many ways,
start paying me.
In many ways, that is what rugby is searching for: to be paid more for less. And not because we're looking to do less, but there has to be an optimum number of games that you play in a season. Yeah. And in Japan, what is it? Even if you win and get through to the playoffs and the title, I think it can't be more than about 12 to 15 games, maybe.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, a little bit more. But however, having said, the pre-season is quite tough. They're into their fitness. They want you to be the fittest and the fastest out there, etc.
No problem for you.
Well,
slightly different for the two of us.
That's why we never got to the heavy duty. Mitsubishi.
But I probably was my fittest and lightest as a rugby player when I was out there. But the rugby suited me. It was fast and open. There was plenty of turnovers, ball, knock on, play on, etc., etc. And I really enjoyed that side of it. And I think, to get that opportunity and to get out there and do that was brilliant. And like you say about the games,
the native tongue, itadakimasu.
Yeah, itadakimasu.
Kampai.
Asahi.
Yeah, Asahi.
Kampai.
Kirin lager. Suntory whiskey. So I bought in. I spent 3 years there in the end. I bought into it because I really enjoyed having to learn a new culture. The people were fantastic.
And it's lovely to have buy-in from your wife and kids, and to give them that experience. I mean, they must have loved that as well.
It was an eye-opener for the kids because they were in an all-Welsh primary school. To everyone speaking Japanese to them, and in the end, I used to have my lessons with the kids because that's all I needed to learn was basic Japanese. And I learned so much from that way. But the kids were equally as talented. But with the rugby side of it, it was quite a full-on pre-season. We'd play a couple of friendly matches, and then you'd get into season. And if you weren't particularly good, you could be knocked out of the playoffs before Christmas.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right? Looking at it selfishly. But also, there's a ruling where you can only have 2 foreigners on the field at the same time.
Right.
Which meant, I played with Steve Donald. Dave Walder was there.
Beaver.
Anthony Boric.
Beaver, wasn't his name?
Beaver was there, yeah. Absolute legend. But anyway, so we were there anyway, and we'd be giggling as to who was going to be on the bench and who was starting and so on. So there'd be weeks where you weren't used either. Yeah. So there was weekends off.
Perfect.
So
perfect.
But when you're at the end of your career,
delighted.
Delighted. At the start of your career, you just want to play every week. You're really keen, and then you come to the end, you're thinking, I don't mind missing it.
Well, I've got to be honest. You smashed it there as well.
We've been spoiled for rugby this summer. We've had the Lions, and now we've got the World Cup coming to England. How excited are you, Noel?
Oh, it's going to be mega. Yeah. It's interesting because I played in the 2010 World Cup that was in England, and we'd lost in 2006 over in Canada, and there was literally like 5 people in the stadium, and we came back and we lost in the final. We got a silver medal, but it was like, didn't you girls do well? Well done. And the highlight was going on Soccer AM. Like, it was the show, wasn't it?
Was this Tim Dinson in those days and Helen Chamberlain, or am I going back?
I don't know who it was, but they loved it because we took on medals and stuff like that.
Yeah, very true.
Was it Fenners, is it? No.
Yeah, they were
Tubes.
And tubes.
I just remember being devastated because we had to wear our kit. And it was Gilbert polos, but they were absolutely terrible. They're much better.
Is that the French version of Gilbert?
Yeah, but it was the only way to spice it up to make it a bit nicer.
I like that. Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Who the hell is Gilbert?
We used to say Gilbert, nothing's possible.
the Red Roses chances.
Oh, they're flying. You know, the stats are crazy for them going in. Yeah, absolutely. Like, they haven't lost for over 1,000 days. Like, the last loss was the World Cup final.
But New Zealand, they do like to spoil a party of the World Cup.
Yeah, and they have got some absolute bolters in the team. So Georgia Miller, early 20s, she's a World Sevens Player of the Year. She is unreal. And it's interesting because when you see Sevens players coming over to 15, you're like, what position are they going to play? Naturally, you'd put them outside backs. And she's slotting into the Sevens shirt. And she scored the most ridiculous try, I think, on her first cap against Australia. They look very confident. They're in a very different place than they were in their home World Cup. There was the fairy tale and the Red Roses. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, red card in the final. But I think, this one, absolute favourites, of course, the Red Roses.
Is anything less, apart from winning it, going to be seen as a failure, do you think? Yeah.
1,000,000% it's a failure if the Red Roses don't lift the trophy. Because of the talent they have, the resource that's gone into them, but it being a home World Cup. But I think for the girls, they will have... it's impossible to replicate that type of pressure. You know, in the World Cup in 2010, very different story then, but you know, women's rugby wasn't really known at that point, but we filled the Stoop, so that was, you know, big for back then. And we had players that had got 50 plus caps, ball gets kicked off, Amy Garnett, one of the best hookers in the world at the time, drops the first ball. And this is 90% crowd, this swing low had been sung during the haka, all of that, you're thinking that's so positive. But it's also pressure, and the girls, you know, I know that they've been trying to replicate it. John Mitchell has been trying to replicate it, all the coaches in training, but it's different.
It is, but I think they have, the heartbreak of the way that they lost that final in New Zealand, and you can argue whether it was a red card, and maybe New Zealand should have had a red card, but ultimately they won the game, New Zealand. I think that if anything positive comes out of that, there was a lot of learning. You know, Wayne Smith did an incredible job with the Black Ferns, and that prompted, I think, England to make take a different direction. John Mitchell's come in. Yeah. He's now been made the coach. They would have seen how New Zealand created the right environment to win a home World Cup. Yeah. And England have been quite ruthless in what they've done. They've brought in John Mitchell. He's done a fantastic job. He talked to all the players. He's really shook things up. He's got two different 15s that he can play. They've got a phenomenal squad.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference.
Could that be the problem, though? You've got so much quality that, you know, you've got 30 players, 15 that aren't going to be happy with it.
I think there has been some challenge for some of the girls because the way he selects the team and plays, you've got the likes of Sarah Byrne on the bench. You know, this is a player that has been nominated. She's the only front rower to be nominated World Player of the Year. She's unreal, and she's on the bench because of how he likes to play. Now, obviously, as a player, you don't play to... You know, for our mentality, it's the number 1 to 15 shirt, isn't it? So I can imagine it's been challenging, but the dynamic within that squad, the closeness, I think, you look at all of the teams we've played in, the best teams are the ones that know each other inside out, you get each other, you have a different bond that's really difficult to explain to anyone, and it just works. So you talk about 08 for you guys, you just have a confidence, and they do, and the talent they have across the team is just phenomenal. You know, Emily Scarrett,
fifth World Cup.
She's the first player in England to do 5 World Cups. I remember her first one in 2010 when she was a big giant baby, and I don't know, there's a feel about it, and I think what's exciting is the way they're playing. I think John Mitchell's come in and they are moving the ball far more. You're seeing the talent. I think probably the only thing I would question is, when they have gone in the big games, they naturally merge towards the forwards dominating.
They took France apart, didn't they?
They made France look silly over there.
They took France apart, but probably still left 20, 30 points out there.
And didn't even play their best rugby.
Okay, so let's get off the fence in Switzerland. What do you think? Are they going to win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, those are like 5 seconds.
There is, because New Zealand are a different ballgame. Yeah. The other thing is France... They're not quite where they are, but that French team they played in the warm-up game, they didn't have their best players on the field.
Canada still...
And Canada is the other side with New Zealand. Last time New Zealand played Canada, I think they drew. France are an unknown. They've never got to a final.
I've got to say,
Wales beat Australia.
Wales are in better shape, aren't they?
Have they moved forward since the professional contracts come in?
Wales?
Yeah.
I think the
not as fast
new
as
management...
they wanted to.
No.
Well, no, but culturally they were in a shambles. Johan Cunningham leading wasn't a positive in the end, and getting, I think, Sean Lynn coming in, knowing a significant proportion of the girls from club rugby at Gloucester Hartbury has made a big difference. But, you know, culturally, look, we said it as a positive in the Red Roses, they're in an amazing place. That takes years. You know, for Sean to come in and try and change it in a Six Nations, never going to happen. I do think, so Wales are up against Scotland in the first match, and that's probably the decider for second place. I would say that having watched the Wales girls go against the Wallaroos, there seemed to be something that shift over there, whether it was the tour together, whether it's new captaincy, whatever. I think that they've got it in them to turn the Scots.
That's the first game, isn't it?
Yeah.
In other news, Wales's superstar winger, Rees-Zammit, is moving back from the NFL.
Bristol Bears.
And moving to Bristol Bears, as someone who's been in issues in terms of being, I mean, is that a good? How do you react to that? Is that a good move for him?
I think it's just good to have him back, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we all wished him well in the NFL. It was
Did
always
you? Did you really?
Yeah,
Not you, but Wales. Did Wales?
I'm absolutely gutted he didn't.
Let's just talk about that for a second, because it's a very brave thing to have done, right? To give up all of your, you know, we talk about going to Japan, that's one thing at the end of your career, but to give up your whole sport and what you know and your family and everything, very brave. It hasn't worked out in the sense that he didn't get what he wanted to, which was on the full roster, but he's probably, at the age of 24, he's made enough money, more money than he would have made had he carried on playing rugby. But more importantly, he's cut ties and made the right decision at the right time, and realised that it's going to be...
The braver call's coming back.
He's coming back. And I think, you know, and he's done that quickly. He's still only 24 years of age. And joining the Bristol Bears, who are financially strong, who play the kind of brand of rugby that you would have loved as a winger. I think it looks like a great move back.
Bristol's just across the channel. They play the style of rugby he enjoys. I think Lam said that he had other offers for more money in playing other clubs. So yeah, it is a tough call. He's gone, he's done it, he's had a crack at it, and you know, we wished him the best, but he's back now. So we want to get the best out of him.
Personally, it's great for him, I think, going to Bristol, because I think there's more money, there's more security there. But I would love to have seen him back in Wales, just to try and inspire the next generation of players, because we're struggling for big names.
100%. And by the way, I don't think his move, I mean, yes, he was measuring success on getting on the full roster, but in 2 years, to be on the reserve list of the Kansas City Chiefs and be on the reserve list for the Jaguars, I think is huge success. And what it shows you is that you cannot do that transition in 2 years. No. It's something that you have to. Had he been a kid at school, I think he probably would be a full NFL player by now. You know, there's no doubt about that.
Stick to Rugby, brought to you by Defender.
Can I ask a question to you, Shane? You obviously are still involved in rugby. You'll see you broadcasting with ITV and with various different broadcasters from time to time. Is that it for rugby, or do you still play for your local team? Do you still play that?
Coaching.
Are you coaching? I mean, your son's a top. You know.
Well, my son's 16, so I coach the youth side and also the school side. The school.
Right. And how have you found that? Have you found, having been coached yourself, having worked with some of the best coaches in the world? You talk about Sean Edwards, and on the other side, Steve Hansen, one of the best coaches ever. I mean, how do you see the coaching side?
I remember my first training session. My boy was 8 years old, and I got asked to come and help, basically. And so I put my boots on, really excited to get involved, and I jumped over the railings to go out and train. And my boy stopped me and he's gone, "Dad, you've had your time, this is mine." And he literally stopped me, and I didn't coach for about 2 years, and I thought, right, okay, I'll leave, you know, I don't want to step in his toes.
Cramp his style,
cramp his style. He doesn't want me here. And my boy's so thick-skinned, he doesn't care what I've done or been or whatever.
Yeah, of course, he's
brilliant.
Just the dad.
But then when he got to the age where he knew he kind of needed to improve and he wanted to get better, starts asking me questions about the game and stuff. So I've been involved for some time now with a lot of the other boys as well, and it's great. And coaching at that level, junior to youth, I can see I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean I want to go and coach the Ospreys or Wales eventually? Probably not.
No.
I don't think I've got that in me. I don't think I've got that personality, and I don't think I can probably offer too much more than what some of these players and coaches know already.
Interesting.
But I get so much more from seeing improvements from these young players. And and they respect me and they listen to what I say. And, if you do that at a young age, you learn a lot, don't you? So,
how much
and that's enough for me.
How much do you do with them and talk to them about the mental side of the game as much as the skill development and the game awareness?
Massive. I think, especially now, that's more important than ever. You've got to be a lot smarter these days in, how do you tell a player he's not playing today?
The following week, you've got to say you are playing now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's
still keep the motor.
It's basically that. Look, you're not playing this week because I want to rest you for next week. Or, look, you've had a niggle, I'm going to hold you back. But this is a really important game for me, I need to play. And that bit is harder for me than it probably is for the players, that side of it. Because you want everyone to be equally as happy. You want everyone to have equally the same opportunity and come off the park or the training park having learnt exactly the same. And that's how I do it. There's no favouritism. I don't go to every game and think, right, I really need to win this, so my strongest team's going out. It's basically, we've got a game on Wednesday playing against Youngs, Cardiff and Vale, school side, which is going to be fun. So it'll be great catching up with Di. But I've basically gone, let's have 3/3. We'll maybe put a stronger team out first, then we're going to put the other boys, and let's play some boys at the end that aren't going to play much rugby next year, maybe.
We could listen to you for hours because it's been an absolute joy. But we are going to finish with a little quick-fire question as we started.
So this one is, you've got to choose the teammates you would pair up with in these scenarios.
Okay.
Sure. Who would you go on a road trip with?
Oh, probably Andy Powell.
You went to Japan, in the golf cart.
I did a program called Big in Japan with Pauli. Sorry, I know it's one word answers, right? But I got to tell you, we got out there, and the producer goes to me. He goes, "Look, Shane, keep an eye on Andy in there because we're going to have a few drinks tonight, and we're filming tomorrow morning, really early." Yeah, no problem. Great. So, about 1 o'clock in the morning, I've gone to the producer. Look, do you want me to take Andy back? No, he's enjoying himself. I'll stick with him. It's okay. So I've gone to bed, woke up the next morning, ready for shoot. No Andy Powell, no producer. They've only ended up in a different city in Japan. Didn't film that day. Andy Powell, absolute legend.
Quiz show partner?
Adam Jones is pretty sharp. And he mastermind champion. Yeah.
Very good.
No offence, Ad, but he's a lot smarter than he looks.
Buddy in a cop movie?
Oh my God. Jeez, I don't know. You need a good cop, bad cop, don't you? I'd like to think I'd be a good cop. Bad cop. Oh, Gethin Jenkins.
Melon choice.
Gethin Jenkins, yeah, no nonsense.
Karaoke?
Ooh. I don't know.
The good singers, Ken, Harvers.
Ken, yeah, Harvers can sing, can he?
Yeah.
Harvers like voice of an angel. He doesn't say much, but when you
I thought every
Can I just say something?
Every Welsh person.
Can I just say something? This is the shittest quickfire quiz I've ever used.
Yeah, sorry, it's maybe quick. I'm not meant to explain it.
Burning to do.
Lee Halfpenny, sorry.
Go on a tandem bike ride?
I've done a couple of tandem bike rides randomly with Ian Evans, so I'd probably do that. Yeah.
Spring cleaning your home?
Paul Connell was when I shared with him in Lions, very clean, very clean.
Last minute Christmas shopping?
This is hard. These are questions I've never been asked in my life. Who loves to shop?
I can't be honest, you don't take anyone last minute Christmas shopping with you, do you?
Mike Phillips, I mean, he'd probably VIP it.
Yeah, well, Mike would VIP it, but again, he'd only buy for himself. But, Go on, we'll take Mike. We've got to take Mike somewhere, haven't we?
Play doubles tennis with?
Oh, Dan Bigger's a good tennis player, I think. Yeah, really good tennis player. And is that it?
That's it, thank you.
Right. Lovely. So I start sweating.
I'll tell you what, when we edit that, that'll be a quick fire.
That was the hardest part.
Shane, thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure,
It's lovely to listen to you.
Good luck against Eyeside on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, look forward to it.